The north is currently on fire. Muslims are saying that they are going to burn down the country if the Sultan of Sokoto is deposed by the governor of Sokoto State. Remember, this is not the first time the Sultan is being deposed or removed from office. During Abacha's regime, the Sultan then, Dasuki, was removed. You see, the Bible says there's no peace for the wicked. What is going on in the north today is to the advantage of Nigerians. And also, it will help Tinubu's government because the north in itself, they are fighting a cold war with the governance of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, looking at his appointments and his policies and those that he has brought into power in the north, relegating the likes of El-Rufai and the caliphate or the gang of Fulani influencers that wanted to be part of the government. Many have said that they were regretting voting Bola Ahmed Tinubu and voting for a Muslim ticket because they expected that some of the things that should have been done by this government is not being done. So what is happening? The north needs to be divided for Tinubu to scale 2027. The north needs to be in chaos for Tinubu to continue in power second term, because we know that when you go on the streets and you mention the name Tinubu, people associate it with suffering, pain, anger, and hopelessness. Like I said, somebody did a banner of the president and put at the junction. The people that were selling around that market warned him that if he keeps on doing that thing, or if he spends a lot of time there and don't get out of there, they will beat him up. Why? Because that thing is putting the portrait, the picture of the president. To them, it seems as if it's bad luck. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is losing local support. And the north, people are coming together, northern politicians are coming together to make sure that Tinubu does not return second term as president. But what is happening in the north can be orchestrated by the powers that be. Put the north in disarray. Let them be divided so that as this continues, when you underrate what the north hold in high esteem, do not hold their traditional rulers in high esteem. In fact, the traditional institution in the north is much more powerful than the political institution. The government in power cannot pull the weight that these traditional rulers are pulling. And not to talk of a Sultan of Sokoto, who is the leader of Muslims in Nigeria. Is the leader of Muslims in Nigeria. Muslims are powerful in Nigeria. Nigeria looks like an Islamic state. Why do I say so? 90 billion naira for Hajj. The presidential hopefuls of both the PDP and Labour Party were afraid to speak against that 90 billion. Tinubu, in all his jagabandish power and influence, could not say no to the 90 billion naira for Hajj. Although there are reports that the 90 billion was not spent, was embezzled, nobody has a say in when it comes to these critical Muslim affairs. You see, one of the consequences of going against the 90 billion is that the Muslim community is going to come against you, because the Hajj is one of the pillars, if I'm correct. You take it, you hold it in high esteem. So another person they hold in high esteem is the Sultan of Sokoto. If the governor of Sokoto State deposes or removes that Sultan, the Muslim community, they are threatening to burn down Nigeria. Well, let them move on. This is not the first time a Sultan has been deposed. Abacha tried it and nothing happened. But let's see if the civilian government of Sokoto can pull that stunt. And for the records, the governor has the powers to do so. The governor of the state has the power to remove a traditional ruler, whether it is the Oba of Lagos, whether it is the Oba of Benin, whether it's the Igwe of Onitsha. It is not a sentimental thing. Let them change the laws so that they can exempt these people. But for the fact that the laws are there, check the laws in your state. The government has the powers to remove the emir. And let me tell you something. I'm looking at this. It is an orchestrated plot to put the north on their feet so that they cannot mobilize against this presidency come 2027. El-Rufai, other politicians visiting the heads of state, former heads of states. I saw Atiku visiting Buhari. They are making plans. They are gathering. They are coming together. I saw a tweet from somebody. He said that they will make sure that they'll go through all the grassroots in the north and make sure President Bola Ahmed Tinubu loses the next election. Yes. So there is a plan. There is a gang up against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But one thing that I think will help the president in the next election is when the institutions of the north, the Islamic institutions of the north, are put in disarray. You can see how the Emir of Kano, the emiracy, is being rubbished on the ground. It's disgraceful. It's becoming irrelevant. It's becoming the value attached to that emiracy is becoming something else. Look at how they are removing an emir. Look at the chaos. We're having two emirs in the state. The president can just wade in and use the Nigerian Gestapo style and put an emir he wants through the Supreme Court. But you see, the president is indifferent in the whole matter. Dangote is behind Sanusi, Kwankwaso is behind Sanusi, politicians are behind Ado Bayero. So it is going to be a tug of war. So for the next, it depends on what the government wants to do, what Tinubu wants to do, but for the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to be having this back and forth in the north. So the Sultan of Sokoto, if he is deposed, nothing is going to happen. You know why? You see, the north is divided. If the same can be done during the time of Ganduje to the Sanusi, and another governor came and did the same. When Abacha did it to the Sultan, Dasuki, what really happened? The governor has the power. There's politics that's been played to divide the north. Divide them, let them not come together as one. So this politics is going to be played till the end of Tinubu's tenure. Tinubu is getting nationwide rejection come 2027, but I believe that that election is going to get a second term as president. We hear that Tinubu wants to visit President Buhari. We heard because there are plans to work against his government come 2027. And Tinubu, as I quote, he said he doesn't believe in one Nigeria, and I believe he's working towards it, but the North would not want him to do so because it does not favor the North. The northern region, they are backward in almost everything. They are relegated in almost everything, despite the fact that they say they know how to play politics and they have been in power for a very long time. They are almost backward in everything. There is something we need to understand at this point in time, that the North created the problems they find themselves in today. The North are the ones that will solve the problems they are in today. Northern politicians have been compromised. That's why it is easy to use them against themselves. It's easy to use an Ado Bayero against a Sanusi, who these guys are brothers. It's easy to use the governor or the Sultan of Sokoto and some interest against a particular interest. It is easy. That's why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to come back as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm not looking at sentiments. We are in Nigeria. We know how these things work. Nigerians don't have the will to stand up for their right. Look at what is happening in Kenya. The professional bodies are coming out for strike, are united. The people, the youth, the old, the young, everybody's coming out. They are united against the government. That is only what can bring change to any society. But here in Nigeria, we're having people who call themselves APC, people calling themselves Labour Party, and are divided because of candidacy. They are not looking at Nigeria and making Nigeria better. I don't think these people want Nigeria to be better. They are just there. Like somebody said, if an APC person is supporting a better Edu, despite the fact that she has so much allegations hanging on her head, it is because that they are looking for a way to get into position of power to steal like her, not because they love Nigeria. They call them emergency lovers of Nigeria. I want to tell the Murik and everybody that is threatening to shut down the country that it is in your right to protest and do whatever you can do. But at the end of the day, you are going to shoot yourself on the leg if you shut down the country, if you put the country into chaos, because there are people already waiting. They are praying day and night for this country called Nigeria to disembark, and everybody will go their separate ways. So if you are going to start the revolution that will bring an Oduduwa nation, if you are going to start the revolution that will bring a Biafra nation, we are all behind you to start. We are all behind you to start. Go and change the laws that give the governor the powers to remove the Sultan of Sokoto, then we can have a conversation. Not here, you are just coming to say one or two things to unintelligent people that don't understand how it works. The last time I did a broadcast on the Edo State issue, I said the governor has the powers to remove the Oba of Benin. Many people came for me because of they feel that it's an insult to say such a thing, but that's the truth. The truth is the truth. The governor, your lawyers, your SAN, your legal luminaries, people in government, they know all this. Your local government chairman that will be used to remove the Oba, they know all this. But it is going to be sentiment as usual until we change the laws that guide this, the laws that empowers the government or the governor. We will not be having such stories. If the government decides today to remove the Sultan of Sokoto, nothing is going to happen. You can only hear noises, except you can pull it to an extent whereby all Muslims in Nigeria will state a shutdown and let everybody find a way to balkanize the country, because Nigeria is not working for Nigerians. Nigeria is working for the elite. Nigeria is working for the president, the vice president, the senators, the House of Rep members, their cronies, their party affiliation, their family members, their girlfriends, all the people that are attached to them, their pastors, their imams. These are the people Nigeria is working for. Nigeria is not working for you and I. Nigeria is not working, I repeat, for you and I. Democracy is being defined as a government of the people, for the people, by the people, and for the people, from the people. People-oriented system of governance. That is democracy. But let me tell you, you don't understand the real definition of democracy. Democracy, we define the people by those that pull the strings. Nigerians don't pull the strings. The masses don't pull the strings in Nigeria. The people are those that make the decisions. Your vote does not make any decision. That's why before somebody becomes president, they will gather in one coven. They will visit one general or the other to make sure that this guy gets a kind of support. You understand? So democracy is a government of the decision-making class, the top guys, the big guys, from the big guys, by the big guys, and from the big guys. That is democracy. Because this Nigeria and this system of government we are practicing would not benefit an ordinary Nigerian, the Nigerians at large, the over 230 million Nigerians. This Nigeria does not favor them. So balkanization, a division of the country, is what should be on the minds of everybody, because these guys are vampires, these guys are heartless, these guys are conscienceless. Look at what the Senate president said during that time. I said, we know that Nigerians are hungry, but that will not stop us from buying a presidential jet for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We know that Nigerians are hungry, but that will not stop us. You can go and die. You can go and get hungry and die, and die of starvation. That will not stop us from getting the president another presidential jet. Within months, the president has ways and means. We are hearing 20.something trillion. We are hearing 3.8 trillion. What is the effect on the Nigerian people? Dangote is having all sorts of excuses why he's not being supplied crude oil, despite the fact that he has one of the biggest refineries in Africa. Nigeria is 6th, 7th largest producer of oil in the world, but we cannot supply the only functioning private refinery in Nigeria. We cannot supply them crude. Why we have navy ships moving our oil from one point to the other under the supervision of the Nigerian Navy and the government, and you think the government is for you? I'm establishing it to you. This democracy we practice in Nigeria is not for Nigerians. It is for the elite and their co-workers and their allies and their girlfriends and their boyfriends, because some of them are involved in other things that we don't understand. So the Sokoto Emiracy, leave it for the people that are trying to destabilize themselves. They don't rate you. Let them fight themselves. Regionalism is the thing. Regionalism is the thing. Regionalism is the best we can have now. That we get to the point of probably going our separate ways. So that's what we have. That is the government that can benefit the people, at least for some years. But as we speak now, nothing for you Nigerians by these people we call. They have been in power for 20, 30, 40 years. Nothing has changed. Shouldn't that have to come to your, like, you need to come back to your senses that, wait a minute, I'm supporting this social class of people. Buhari came in and said, not too young to rule. They now started bringing their own children. They didn't look at the children of the masses. They started prepping their own children as the young, not too young to rule, to take over after they have lauded themselves over us for over 40, 30, 50 years. They are now bringing up their children. So I'm telling you that democracy, the government, is not for you Nigerians. The government is for the rich and their people, their brothers and sisters. If you like, kill yourself. Those who you see supporting the government are waiting for opportunities whereby they can have a part of the national cake and also probably do worse than those that are in power. You can see some of the ministers, the technocrats we have in Tinubu's government. Despite the fact that they have so many manifestos, they have gone there. Better do has been disgraced. So these people, you see, emergency lovers of Nigeria, they love Nigeria, they don't love Nigeria. So back to the Sanusi issue. This is what I think. Tinubu, it will be to the advantage of his administration if the North is boiling till the end of his first tenure. And his magic wand, you just think his magic wand, then you see him as the president come 2027. In another broadcast, we'll talk about the underdogs, the politicians in the North, how they are coming together, trying to wrestle power from the APC. P2B may be considered in that plot because he has a popularity, and that popularity, they are the powers of the country, that is the obedience. So everybody is looking for a way to pull down President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But let me tell you something. Tinubu has never lost any election. Take that to the bank. I'm not a supporter of Tinubu. I have never been a supporter of Tinubu. My own opinion is even Tinubu does not represent the Yoruba people. The Yoruba people have a legacy. When you say Yoruba man and Omoluabi, you know. So the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a person, that's my personal opinion. So I don't support him. So I'm not against the Yoruba or whatever you think, because people think if you don't support Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you are against the Yoruba people. That is a minute way of thinking. You have a small mind. You have a very small mind. So good luck to the Sultan of Sokoto if he's eventually deposed and the North boils to the favor of Tinubu's government and for the division of the country called Nigeria.